Robert Shrimpsley's Financial Times article yesterday, I think, offers a finely etched criticism of the Starmer-Reeves dynamic, yet its implicit tone of disappointment deserves amplification, particularly after Rachel Reeves' disastrous budget performance and as that sinks in. And while Shrimpsley diplomatically suggests that Starmer's hands-off approach risks ceding too much control to his Chancellor, a sharper lens reveals not just passivity but an abdication of leadership. And remembering the article is about the fact that the Prime Minister's first title is First Lord of the Treasury, and Starmer's reluctance to intervene in Treasury orthodoxy has left Reeves to drive Labour's economic agendum into what can only be described as a stereotic quagmire of tax hikes, regulatory burdens, and ideological rigidity. Reeves' fiscal strategy rests on a curious paradox. She insists on running the economy like a household, yet manages it with the recklessness of a lottery winner investing in gold-plated treadmills. Her reliance on private finance initiatives exemplifies this, a short-term fix that mortgages the future in precisely the way no prudent household or government should do so. Shrimpsley's hints at this folly, but falls short of outright condemnation. I don't intend to be so restrained. Reeves' decision to pursue PFIs is economically irrational, politically indefensible, and most damningly entirely self-serving. A theogosic aura of infallibility surrounds her, insulating her from the necessary humility to admit her error. And, she can grind her teeth on her own time. The business community's frustration with Reeves is palpable, and Shrimpsley's analysis rightly notes that her policies, employer national insurance hikes coupled with an increased minimum wage, have created a hostile economic environment. And her claim that there was no alternative, I don't understand why so many people embrace the rhetoric of Thatcher without looking at the memoirs and the biographies to see that actually the rhetoric and the BBC image of Thatcher is different to the reality, and that's how Thatcher worked. Her claim, Reeves's claim, there's no alternative, is risible. Reeves had an array of options, from taxing wealth more effectively to addressing inefficiencies in public expenditure. Instead, she chose measures that disproportionately burden employers and workers, leaving the wealthy and asset-rich largely untouched. It's not a household approach. It's an austerity-era rerun with a red rosette. And Shrimpsley observes that Starmer has delegated too much control to Reeves, resulting in a Treasury-first approach to government. And while this criticism is valid, the underlying problem is Starmer's aversion to confrontation and his lack of economic vision, his lack of economic knowledge. Successful prime ministers, Blair with Brown, Thatcher with Lawson, acted as counterweights to their chances, injecting political pragmatism where Treasury orthodoxy threatened to derail broader goals. And Starmer's failure to provide this counterbalance risks rendering him as a passenger in his own government, with Reeves steering Labour's economic narrative into the abyss. Sir Lindsay Hoyle's public admonishment of Reeves for briefing the media before Parliament epitomises her arrogance underpinning Labour's economic approach. Such contempt for parliamentary norms is symptomatic of a government that prioritises optics over accountability. And of course, Kemi Badenoch has also been rebuked for the same issues. This is a Parliament obsessed with its own arrogance, with the arrogance of these individuals who are given power. Reeves' decision to rewrite fiscal rules and announce them abroad without parliamentary scrutiny compounds the perception of her as a high-handed and dismissive individual who dismisses the democratic process. And Shrimpsley, ever the diplomat, retains from dwelling on this, but the significance shouldn't be underestimated. This is not just a breach of protocol, it's a warning sign of a government detached from its institutional responsibilities. As Shrimpsley suggests, Labour needs a more dynamic economic strategy and a Prime Minister willing to challenge the Treasury's grip. But more than that, Reeves must shed her theogosic arrogance and acknowledge her mistakes. Her insistence on adhering to flawed fiscal commitments rather than pivoting towards a fairer and more growth-oriented strategy is both economically and politically suicidal. The government must focus on policies that inspire business confidence, attract foreign investment, and address structural inequalities, not just raise taxes and hurt people and hope for the best. Shrimpsley's article is a thorough criticism, but it does not capture the theoretic nature of Labour's current trajectory under Reeves and Starmer. The budget has exposed not only the Chancellor's lack of political nous, but also the Prime Minister's failure to lead. And I think Shrimpsley's absolutely right on that. If Labour doesn't recalibrate soon and move away from this spiteful approach, its lofty promises of growth and fairness will become yet another footnote in Britain's long history of economic mismanagement, first by the Conservative Party, then by Labour. Who else is going to mismanage our country?